Hello, my name is Victoria Perrigan, and I will be giving an informative speech entitled Being a Millennial Mom: How Our Generation is Changing Parenthood Forever. How many parents actually stop to think about the fact that their experiences and the times that they live through will make them different parents from their own? For generations, most families have pretty much stuck with doing what their parents have done as far as parenting styles. Many have called the millennial generation a lost generation because we are so immersed in technology and a unique blend of different parenting styles. But that is exactly what is going to help us become the most successful of all parenting generations. I personally am a millennial generation mother who is personally taking a different approach to parenting. I have researched articles as well as speaking to other parents from the generation being discussed about parenting and the difference our generation could potentially make in parenting versus those before us. The millennial generation may be the most unique and perfect blend of all parenting styles. As millennials, we may not seem like we would be the best material for parents because we are known to be so connected technologically, but that can be quite an advantage. For instance, 65% of millennials have said that they believe losing their cell phones would be more detrimental to them than losing their vehicles. This could be taken to mean that our generation has our priorities quite out of order. But according to a fellow millennial mom, Michelle Stevens Gabehart, this means that as parents, we are more linked into the resources we need to be informed and thus be better parents. Mrs. Gabehart went on to say that despite being a young mother of only 23 years old, she feels that she has the access to all the pertinent information when it comes to raising her children. As she said, when I needed to know how normal my daughter's sleep cycle was, I had a way to find out with no problem. When I needed to know a Tylenol dosage for my infant son's first fever, I didn't have to call my mother or even the pediatrician right away. I know that when I have a question about my child's health, it is no more than a click away. Some may look at our ever comfortable relationship with technology and our ever expanding use of apps and say that in some way or another it is taking away from the physical time spent with our children, time spent learning hand-eye coordinating games, or even reading a story. According to Dr. Dimitri Christakis, the actuality of it couldn't be more to the contrary. In his exact words, it's a great opportunity for what we call joint attention, the interactions between a child and a caregiver, the back and forth, which is critical not just to language development, but also to brain development. Using these parenting apps are actually beneficial to our children in so many ways. To fully understand what is going to shape the millennial generation as a great people and as wonderful parents, it is pertinent to take a look into what made us who we are. From tech to tragedy, we have participated in and witnessed more than any generation before us. If you considered our parents the MTV generation with the revelation of the 24-hour music world, then consider yourself introduced to the generation YouTube with access to pretty much anything imaginable all day, every day. Imagine cultural diversity taken to the next level, and you're looking at the millennial generation. Our generation has seen the explosion of social media platforms such as Facebook, as well as the broad expansion of programs like Skype and Apple's FaceTime, which are bringing us together and creating one large connected community. Gone are the days of waiting extended periods of time or taking long trips to see or speak with friends and loved ones who might be far away. Today, connecting with those friends and family who may be a distance away or just around the corner is as simple as a touch on your mobile device or opening your PC. This, by far, seems to be the technological advance that I personally believe will help us develop as parents. Like most mothers, I value my mother's opinion on all things baby and child related above all others. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, luckily for today's parents, the entire village is no more than a click away. I am blessed enough to have my birth mother, as well as my stepmother, to look to for advice And thanks to the advances in social connection, it has never been easier. If I want to ask my mom an hour away which brand of vitamin supplement she recommends, all I have to do is pick up my mobile device. If I want to ask my stepmother in Texas what she thinks of my daughter's unsavory new habit of sticking her tongue out in a peculiar manner, we just open our laptop and within a few clicks she can actually see the child's actions for herself, despite the expanse of miles between us. This ability to keep in touch is a great way to continue the traditions that we have inherited as being called possibly the most culturally diverse generation to date, with a whopping 11% of millennials having at least one immigrant parent. Thus far, we have seen that the advantages in technology and social connection mediums have the opportunity to propel our millennial generation into the parenting history books. But to see what has made this generation who we are, and therefore who we will be as parents, we have to take a look back into the history books that we will eventually become a part of. Our generation has been an audience to a host of tragic and revolutionary historical events, and we were shuffled around between practice and study by what some experts have called our helicopter parents. It is these events and these experiences that we are going to call into play when we are asked who we are and who we want our children to be. Any parent of any generation is going to agree that who their child or children will become is the basis of almost every decision they make. It is also common ideology that the more life experience one has, the more you might want to take advice on life from that person. Our children, the ones who will call the millennial generation their parents, will come equipped with the knowledge we are going to pass down. Based on the history we have seen taking place, this could give our children quite an advantage if the advice is heeded. From the impeachment of a president to Columbine, 9/11, and the election of the first black president, our generation is definitely one that has seen its fair share of life-shaping events. We also come from homes where the changing world around us was a factor in influencing our parents to hover and plan out the majority of our activities. Coming from these types of backgrounds, we are going to be more likely to allow our children to develop as individuals instead of attempting to mold them into exactly who we expect them to be. And this is evidence that we don't necessarily want our children to be herded into the same over-parented environments that it seems the majority of us have came from. Taking a look back over our discussion, I have addressed the misinterpretation that millennials are too wrapped up in technology. I have in turn shown how this can be a useful parenting tool. Second, I have discussed how advances in various types of media, including social, have shaped the millennials, as well as a look at how we are culturally the most diverse generation of Americans to date. Third, I examined how the influences of the millennial generation have shaped who we are and how we will be parents. All this comes back to my thesis that the millennial generation may be the most unique and perfect blend of parenting styles, and therefore possibly the best generation of parents to date. As a generation, we have been in a proverbial fishbowl from the beginning, with someone critiquing who we are, what influences us, and where we came from. But hopefully, what our children will remember us for is taking the change and advancement that we have seen firsthand and using it as an unhindered advantage to become the best parents that we can possibly be. Thank you.